Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to our stream, our Friday stream. I'm very happy to be here, and today we're going to be continuing with one of the things that we were working on a couple of weeks ago, which was this very cool concept that I found from a Warhammer gun. Yeah, I had this last week, right? Didn't I have this last week? The short hair? I think I did, but if you didn't see me, well, yeah, new haircut right here. I usually cut my hair like 2 times a year. I'm very lazy there. I just like let it grow, and then once I feel like, yeah, it's a little bit long, let's get it shorter. When I was in high school, I don't want to go dig for some of my high school pictures right now, but when I was in high school, I had like a really big like hair, like really big. So yeah, let's go. Where is it? Right here. Awesome. So this is where we left off last time that we were working on this concept. It's a very cool concept. I remember explaining this to you guys. Where I found this concept on the internet, and it was just like this like game, the Warhammer game that got cancelled at one point, but there's a lot of information. I'm sorry about that black bar. I've been having that thing. I think it's like a display issue. I'm not sure if it's my driver or if it's my monitor. Not sure if you guys see it. There's like a little bit of a blink every now and then. Anyway, so yeah, we got all of these parts together, and we were going over topology quite a bit. You can see here that we're taking really good care of making sure that all of our loops and all of our elements are looking as tight and as nice as possible. Everything is meant to be for subdivision surface, so this is an asset that's meant to be for like a commercial or like a cinematic or something like that. It's not meant to be for games, okay? We could later on, like it's one of those what's the word, it's one of those things that we can do. We could eventually convert this into a game asset, right? But we will need to either remove a lot of the bevels and support edges or create a new low poly mesh of the whole thing, right, for this guy right here. So yeah, let's start working. Let's start working on this piece right here. There's a lot of pieces that we're still missing. And I think I want to start with something a little bit more organic today. So we're going to start with this back part right here. So with the trigger section, right? Let's see. Becker Draw says, by the way, noise in ZBrush is amazing. Yeah, they introduced a new ZBrush, or a new noise thing a couple of months ago, where they are now adding the Cinema 4D noises, which are, again, procedurally generated noises. Very cool thing. No, I don't think we're going to do the low poly for this one, man. I really want to do high poly. I haven't done high poly in a while. When you create an AI standard surface, how's yours is bright? Mine is very dark. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure why that happens. I think it's some sort of like, I'm not sure if it's something from my install or if it's like my version of Maya, but I'm not sure why the materials are so bright. I'm also thinking that it could be this thing right here, the ACES like thing that sort of like color corrects things and make them a little bit brighter. I'm really not sure. Okay, so as you can see right here, guys, this piece right here has a very flat surface, right? This part right here, or at least to me, looks quite flat, at least this upper part right here. And then on this area, we have something that's a little bit more round. So there's multiple ways in which we can sort of like tackle this. I'm going to start with this part right here, which is like the flat area. And easiest way to do that is, of course, with Quadro. So I'm just going to start with a like plane right here, rotate it so that it's facing me, right? I was thinking about doing like a costume button because I always hate to be rotating planes. There we go. See that little, like, are you guys seeing that? Like, there's like a blink of a black thing, and I'm pretty sure it's like a graphics thing. Anyway, so this one's gonna go, and I'm gonna start this right there. Awesome. So we're gonna go Quadro, and we need to just start creating the topology. You're not seeing the blink? Then it's my screen. My screen is dying. Oh well. Might need to fix that. Here in Mexico, we have some good offers this weekend, so I might be able to grab one new monitor. Anyway, so yeah, we're just gonna go around this thing, and as I always tell you guys, when you're planning topology, one of the things that you want to think about is how are things going to be connecting to each other, right? So in this case, the trigger, even though I'm not seeing it on the underside, I'm still gonna connect it in a sort of like a loop shape right there. Right, because then we're gonna have this or like a round element right there. So we want to make sure that topology flows nicely, and when I press number 3, it sort of like smooths out very nicely. Yeah, it's just an excuse, right? And it was like, oh, there's a flickering, an invisible flickering that only I see. So there we go. We're gonna go right there, and this is pretty much where I think, or I feel that this flat area finishes. And after this flat area, we start getting this sort of like a round section right here. So how would we tackle that, right? Like, what's the option that we have right here? Yes, we could do a little bit of like, again, we could do a little bit of like quadro and try to just like push things here and there, but I'm not sure that's gonna be the best idea. I think for this particular one, a cylinder, like an 8-sided cylinder, is probably gonna be best. So I'm gonna start with an 8-sided cylinder, and then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna reduce the amount of sides, of course, to 8. There we go. I'm going to delete all of the faces on the back, like this, and this one's right there, so we're only left with 4 faces. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rotate this and start playing with the elements, because as you can see, it should be fairly easy to see that this light gray color is part of the roundness. It's these 2 faces, and this other one right here is this other face right here. And eventually when we mirror to the other side, we should keep the curvature, right? So I'm gonna start with this thing right here, and then we're gonna add a couple more. Walker and draw, there you go, man. Yeah, don't worry, man. Go get your job done. So get some sleep, and thanks for dropping by. Let's see. So I'm gonna go with vertex here. I'm just gonna start positioning this vertex. I'm gonna again sort of like follow the flow of this gun piece right here, this handle. And since this was born as a cylinder, it should keep its roundness as long as I stay in this view right here. Okay. So now, for instance, I can go and grab these edges, Control E, push them up. There we go. And I can just play with this elements. So right there, right there. I'm gonna add more edges on the other side in just a second. And once I have this, I can just start adding a couple of more edge loops to really capture the curvature where I need it, right? I'm gonna explain how I'm gonna do that little pointy bit in just a second. Whenever I'm doing this, again, like organic shapes, I always like to focus on the big shapes first, okay? So big shapes first. We're gonna go there, and then, is this a gun part of a secret course? No, this is just a gun. I just wanted to do a gun. I haven't done a gun in a while, and mainly because YouTube doesn't like guns too much. Sometimes it sort of like blocks the content, because of course guns can be dangerous. So yeah, no, it's just a gun, man. Just a simple gun. There we go. So now, as you can see, this thing flows very, very nice. Now we need to change a little bit of the like topology on this area right here, because this thing is gonna continue going in this upper direction like this, right? Keeping its curvature, getting a little bit thinner right there. And then this thing right here is gonna go in this direction. We merge those 2 points, and we might need to add an extra edge loop right there, right? Now, one thing about edge loops, you guys already know this, we gotta move them, right? There has to be a balance between the edge loops. Otherwise, what ends up happening is you're gonna get a pinch. When 2 edge loops are very close to each other, you get a pinch. And sometimes that's what we want, sometimes that's not what we want. And eventually this one, as you can see right there, is pretty much gonna sort of like merge with this point right there. Yeah, I'm being careful here to keep a curvature very, very nicely. Never thought about YouTube suppressing views with gun content. Yeah, it doesn't suppress them, but when you are like uploading a video, it always asks you, is there any like swearing, or is there any like very like strong language? Are there any gun contents, or are there any weapon contents on the video? Of course, like mature contents like nudity and things like that. So you cannot upload nudity to YouTube, of course, but if there's things that are suggestive or things like that, it asks you, and it evaluates what ads they're going to be playing. So if you lie there, you can get restricted on the ads and on your views, and you know, algorithm and all that stuff. 2 edge loops do a pinch, really? Yeah, if they're really close together, you're gonna start seeing how things get just a little bit weird. So it's always a good sort of like rule of thumb to keep things balanced. So to try to keep the spacing between, like here, right? Like this square right here, Anthony, and this one right here, they should be very similar. So it's better for me to just move the edges just a little bit. It's gonna give me a better deformation. It's gonna give me a better sort of like effect. And look at that. Now we get that very nice sort of like round effect. Now, if I need to, I can always sort of like push this roundness a little bit more, a little bit less, right? To really account for things. And I was talking with a student yesterday. Cylindrical shapes or round shapes are very good because of some basic math. Did you guys like math when you were in the high school? I liked it. The only thing I never got like straight, or I was always like struggling with, was calculus. Differential calculus was like one of those things that I hated. Like I really didn't understand that thing. But like trigonometry, I love trigonometry. So let's see how your math is, guys. This is a circle. What's the name of this thing right here? What's the name of that thing right there? That element. That's the radius, right? Yeah, that's the radius. And there's a very cool thing. No, Wolf Girl! How can you say a diameter, man? No, it's not the diameter, it's the radius. So this right here is the radius, and the whole thing, of course, is the diameter, which is 2r. Right, so the diameter of a circle is always equal to 2r. So the cool thing about cylindrical shapes is that the radius and the diameter is always constant. So anytime or any way you slice the circle, the diameter is always going to be the same. So that's why cylindrical shapes are so good to find like the proper proportions of things. Because if I know that this thing is like cylindrically shaped, or like the barrel of the gun, if I match this side right here, I know I'm going to match this side right here, and I'm going to be able to find the perfect or like circumference or the perfect diameter of any cylindrical object. So whenever you're doing any concept that has cylindrical shapes, I always like to block those first so that we know how big things are going to be, right? Because I know that you can't get it wrong. Like once you find the perfect circumference, you can't get it wrong. A trigonometry course? No, man. No. There's some very good, have you guys seen like in TikTok, there's some very good TikTokers that teach math and show or explain like the things in math that I particularly struggled with when I was in high school. So those might be a better option for you. There we go. So now that's like this, again, this cylindrical shape is very good because now I can very easily find where this flat part is going to be, because this flat part should be sort of like flush with the rest of the elements, so it should give me the proper size of the handle. That's why it's so good about them. No, the pi times radius is what we do to get the circumference, so the whole thing around the circle, right? So pi times radius, it's the circumference of the whole thing. Okay, so now we have this thing right here and this thing right here. I'm gonna focus on finishing this one first, at least like the low poly version, before we merge it with this piece right here, because you can see that there's also some like interesting shapes there. So this one, fairly easy. We're just gonna mirror it to the other side. There we go, and we should get this shape right here. And I know that once I add my support edges, this thing is gonna like, again, like support itself very nicely. Now I feel like this point right here, it's a little bit too far out. So I'm gonna push it in a little bit more, again, to get that sort of like ergonomic like fit to the whole thing. There you go. 2 pi times radius. 2 pi times radius. Can math help 3D artists? All the time, man. Like, you don't need to know, again, like calculus and things like that to utilize math, but there's a lot of math involved in the 3D world. Mainly because we use it to do like multiplication additions, especially, you know, where I use quite a bit of math. When I'm using Unreal and I'm like doing materials or I'm doing specific events, you use things like cosine, sine, you use things like, again, like offsets and multiplications and divisions between values to get some, just some interesting things here and there. So, is it completely necessary? No. Is it good? Yes. It can really help you. Yeah, in Unreal, you use it quite a bit. Okay, so again, I know that this edge right here, we're gonna sort of like clean. Now this one, pretty much all of this guys right here, I'm gonna extrude them and get them there to the center. So at this point, I'm gonna use target weld just to weld it right there. Do you guys know this tool? I actually recently discovered this one like a couple of months ago, and it's called target weld. It's this one right here. So you click on one point and you just like drag it to the one that you want to weld to, and it's a very easy way. The way I used to do it is I would just grab the vertex, and then with the V I would just like middle mouse or just like click and move it to the point, and they'll all merge. So that's like 2 extra steps. The target weld is way easier. You just click that, one, the other, there we go, boom. So now, oh, what the hell is that? Let's delete that. Let's do another mirror here on X. There we go. And this is the sort of like the basic shape that we want, right? Now we want to have edge loops, because edge loops are what are going to control, again, the sort of like the sharpness of the effect. Right now I do feel like we have one, so it's this one right there. So that should function nicely. So yeah, this looks quite nice, I think. So we're in a good position there. Yeah, it's on the modeling toolkit. That's where I found it. Okay, so now we need to bridge these two guys together. So we're going to, hey, Endermax, thanks for the, what's the word? Thanks for the follow, and thanks for the tip there. In target wall, you can also set it up to weld in the midpoint. Nice, nice, nice. So I'm gonna grab these two guys. I'm gonna combine them. There we go, and I'm gonna add one edge loop right there. And let's try this. I'm just gonna merge to center, merge to center, merge to center, right? We might need to do a little bit of like poly modeling here and there. There we go. This one, yeah, let's merge to center. Just push it out a little bit. And then obviously from all of this guys right here, we're going to control E, and they're probably gonna go very straight towards the center line like that, right? Now, I know that this middle section is gonna like turn out fine, so I'm just gonna delete it. I like to do that. I like to sort of like mirror things to see how they're gonna look and then destroy the mirror. Here, it is a good idea to add one more edge loop so that we can bridge these two guys together and these two guys together. And again, it's always a good idea to sort of like blend things so that the transition is gonna be a little bit smoother, right? Don't you like getting rid of unwanted tabs when you're just modeling? See, I've modeled this way all my life, man. So, well, not all my life, but I've been doing this for over a decade now. Then I'm just used to it. I'm just used to it. So, yeah. It's, I know that we have like this modeling standard thing that it's just a little bit better. But I've just been modeling with the general tab for so long. Yeah, that one I knew, the control 1 to isolate objects. Okay, now here, this is going to be an interesting one, because this one does look a little bit round as well. So I'm going to control E. This one goes straight there. This point, I'm going to like move it lower. X-Try there, and Might Panov, welcome guys, and thanks for the follow. Now, I'm going to give this a little bit of roundness, so I'm going to have to go right there. And then, as you can see, we're actually going to have to add one more edge loop there so that things flow nicely. And here we need to decide, do we want to give this a little bit more roundness? I think we can. So I'm just going to push this up a little bit right there. Again, we grab this two, merge to center, merge to center. And this two, merge to center. There we go. That looks nice. Now here, we're going to grab... because there's again like a sort of like a round thing right here. So on this guys, I'm gonna control E, push to the center. Oh. There we go. And those, since that's the middle point, I'm gonna push it out a little bit, you know, something like that. Again, we can take a look at the right view and see how much. It's actually quite a bit. So all the way up to that point. Grab this edge, push it one time. And the second time, there we go. And then we can insert an edge loop right there. Grab the edge loop, and just give it a little bit of curvature, right? That's gonna give us the, again, the ergonomic look right there. Good day, everyone, good day. You show on the video of the color checker, the insert edge loop, but then what's the difference with connect tool? Connect tool? Insert edge loop, connect tool? I'm not sure what the connect tool is. You mean bridge? I'm not sure what you mean there, man. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this two guys, control E, push them to the center, there we go. And then we wanna try to keep this as uniform as possible. So those two are good phase right there. These two are good phase right there. Again, that's gonna give us a like a nice blend going into this direction. And then here we can use a very common technique for edge flow, which is a 2-to-1 reduction. So this one, we push it forward, and then we go to this corner and this corner right there. See that? So instead of making this edge flow back into the element, we make it flow sideways to the other side. So we do that again. It's called a 2-to-1 reduction because we go from 2 to 1 edge loops right here. Closed box says, hi Ave, I'm new to 3D modeling and I was wondering if you think that booleans plus Dynamesh workflow for hard surface modeling. Yes, it's a viable option, Closer, but then you need to clean it up somehow. You can try using Siri Measure, for instance, and it's gonna give you something decent. If it's for a game, you're gonna have to do retopology, but for like the basic constructions of shapes, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, for the basic construction of shapes, totally fine. Control E here, let's go there. And now, again, to just keep things very, very clean, I do want to create like a box around these things. So I'm gonna go here, set an edge loop there. It's just our target weld there, like all of those guys. There we go. Control E. There we go, and we add an edge loop right there. Whereas these two guys right here, we merge to center, and those guys we merge to center. There we go. And finally, again, just to sort of like close the box, let's grab these two guys right here. Control E. There we go, and we add. Oh, we add one cut down the middle. Merge those to center. Merge those to center. And again, 2-to-1 reduction, right? So we do this one right here, and then this one to that side, and this one to this other side. That way we get like a flat area. And look at that. Now we have a perfect edge loop that goes through the middle of all of the piece. Here, bottom part. That's a great question. I think we should close this one as well. So I'm gonna grab these two faces. Control E. Push them in. That target weld, I'm not sure if I want a triangle. It's not gonna be a triangle. Yeah, let's do that. So it's just gonna go there. It's gonna be a little bit sharp, but the edge loops should hold it nicely. And then over here again, 2-to-1 reduction. So we just do an extrusion there. Push this in. Actually, no, we don't need a 2-to-1 reduction. This is fairly straightforward weld, so I'm just gonna weld this down like that. There we go. Now we should be able to grab the whole edge loop going around the handle here. Let's go top view, make sure this is aligned to the center, and we mirror this to the x-axis, right? There we go. Beautiful. Let's see. I was wondering, though, what's the best way to learn 3D for a job in the unicorn companies, like the traditional schools? Or what do you mean unicorn companies? You mean like the best companies? So that's a question that I answered a couple of weeks ago. I made a video about like traditional school or this or not. Schools will give you a lot of tools, and they're very, very helpful if you research the school properly and you check who is teaching there, who is giving, again, like the feedbacks, the portfolio that they have. You should be able to find some good options out there, because there are good options. As you guys know, I graduated from Neumann, excellent option. I'm currently working with a think tank, so another excellent option. So it's a matter of, again, doing your research. Unfortunately, and this is something that I've seen quite a bit here with you guys, a lot of you that take the courses, they tell me, oh, I'm learning more from the courses than I am from my school. Unfortunately, there are a lot of schools out there that are not well prepared, or they don't have the stuff as updated as they should. So it really depends on your experience. That's why I always encourage you guys to do good research. Says B Hegish Nikam, today I purchased your substance painter course and it's just awesome. Too much helpful for me. There you go, man. Glad you're enjoying it. I saw some people who simply take the base mesh, triangulate it, and clean it up. Is it a good way, or as a beginner? It's a good way. It's a good way, but again, you unless you really know what you're doing, it could give you more problems than solutions. There we go. Let's see. I was wondering if you could shout out some hard surface modeling creators. Yes, of course, there's Elemensa. Like, for hard surface stuff, Elemensa is really, really freaking good, man. Like, props to that dude. Vitaly Vulgarov is also an amazing hard surface sculpture. Yeah, there's several there. There's another one. What was Nikita? I think there's one named Nikita or something. Yeah, there's plenty of. I've never been like too much of a hard surface guy myself. I like it. Like I don't despise it or anything. It's just that I don't do it as much. Okay, cool. So we got this shape ready. I think we've fulfilled the main shapes. There's just one little change that I'm seeing here. You can see like a little bit of a curvature there. So I'm gonna add a couple of edge loops and just like finalize that shape right there, like a little bit of a curve. Now, the great thing about this clean topology that we have right here is that now to smoothen it out and to create like clean elements, it should be fairly easy. So I'm gonna start with insert edge loops. Again, I'm gonna try to keep this simple. So I'm gonna go top view and just delete half of it, because I know all of this can be easily mirrored and it's easier to work on half a section. So for instance, this whole edge loop right there, just bevel, 2 segments and a small fraction right there. I'm gonna add one edge loop going in this direction. Now we gotta be very careful, because for instance here, I just gotta make sure that the edge flow flows nicely and that it doesn't stop in any like weird place, right? So as long as it does that, we're in a good position. So for instance here, this one right there, right? It goes all around the whole thing. That's fine. But it's going through this like middle section right there, so that's gonna kill my flow, right? So if I insert this edge loop right here, it's killing my flow because it's going through this round effect right here. So I got a couple of options there, and probably the easiest option is just to delete a couple of like faces. So all of this caps that we're never gonna see, right? We delete that and we just control where it goes. So this face again is the one that's causing the issue. I'm just gonna delete it for now. We could always fill it in later. And that way, when I add this edge loop right there that's gonna hold that little spike, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna stop right there. So it's gonna give me the roundness and the ergonomics that I'm looking for without destroying too many elements. Then I do need one line right here to keep that sort of like very straight, nice effect right there. There we go. That looks nice. And then we're gonna need another one right here. There we go. We're gonna need one right here. There we go. Maybe a couple, to be honest, to really have like that sharp effect, right? Nice. And now here's what I was talking about with you guys earlier. Now, unfortunately, we're gonna start getting points or bits that are gonna look a little bit wonky. See that right there? Like, there's some wonky lines here and there. So this is a good moment to go back into our sort of like poly modeling section and just push some of the points around, especially like on this line right here. You can see how it generates like a little bit of a pinch. So when you start seeing those pinches, that's where you want to really be like clinical about this, and you can slide the edges a little bit, so like give them a little bit more of a breathing room, right? So that we still use them where we need them, which is on this like spike right here, but they're not causing too many issues on the lower sections. It's a lot of balancing act at this point, but it's very, very important that we try to relax them, because otherwise the shine of the element's not gonna be perfect. And if you start seeing that sort of like bumpiness, again, we gotta correct a couple of those points. One of my friends, he was modeling Thor's hammer, and after he completed modeling, he showed me, and the model had double faces all over. How could he fix it without wasting more time? If you have double faces, for instance, if I grab a cube and I accidentally just grab all of the faces and I extrude, but I don't do anything, right? And then I just say mesh displace or reverse edge, and it looks like it's fine, but if I press number 3, there's double faces everywhere. You can just go to vertex mode and say edit mesh, merge, and make sure that this is set to 0.001, so that only the points that are literally one on top of each other are gonna be like merged together, and that should clean it. If it doesn't clean it, again, you need to check, but you could maybe like select all of them and try well, maybe the 0.001 was too far out, but there are ways to remove some of those. You can also go and weld points in ZBrush. There's an option to weld points, but that one usually works, the one where you just like merge everything together. There's also an option here inside of Maya Windows, or sorry, Mesh cleanup, and there's a cleanup option for, I think it's this one, Lamina faces sharing all edges, and I think it's that one. I think if you select lamina faces, you can remove that geometry. Sad Dico says, hey, how are you doing? Finally, I can join the stream. I was trying to join the past weeks, but I was always late. Ah, you're just in time, man. We just started and we just finished doing this like little part right here. Yeah, cleanup is it's a good way to do it. Now, one thing I like to do here is I like to assign a new material, a blend material, and just check the shine, right? Like, let's turn off the grid for a second. Like, check how the lights are like behaves around the whole element. And that's where you're going to be able to notice the sort of like the points where things are getting a little bit too sharp, right? Where you're getting a little bit of a pinch. And that's where you can sort of like relax things a little bit. Like that line right there, I don't love it. I feel like this one, it's a little bit too intense. So I'm going to grab it and we'll just scale it. I'm just going to sort of like push it in a little bit more. So it's a little bit smoother, right? There we go. That looks way, way nicer. There we go. Same thing here. Like, I don't like this, like, sharp corner that we're getting there. I'm just going to go to my right view. And I know that it's because 2 points are very close to each other. So it's just a matter of separating them a little bit. Right? Because I want them to be close together on the point right there, but I don't want them to be close together anywhere else. So that's going to give me a smoother transition. See that? It's not as obvious right now. Now here I'm going to do... I do want to rebuild this face right here. So I'm going to delete this edge for just a second. I'm a little bit scared of adding one more line, but let's try this. So I'm going to extrude this, bring this in. Get it right there. Let's merge together. And then I want this face to be like flowing to a different direction, so I'm gonna do this. And there's two vertices that are very close together. I'm just gonna push. Even a triangle there is actually not a bad idea, to be honest. I'm just gonna keep it as a triangle for now. Because what's gonna happen is, once I insert the edge loop here, since that's a triangle, it's now gonna become a square. Right? Right now it's looking a little bit weird, but I'm gonna show you one more thing that we can do here. Now what we can do is insert an edge loop on this page right there, and that's going to clean it up a little bit. I'm not sure why that is. That face is behaving weirdly. No big issues. We just delete this and do it again. There we go. Much better. So yeah, there's a little bit of, well, not a bit. That's like very intense pinch right there. But it's going to be on a hidden part of the element. I actually, a couple years ago, I've told you before, I worked for a commercial for Diablo Immortal. And I was lucky enough that they sent us a lot of the models that they were using at Blizzard so that we could like work with them. And I was looking at the Wizards like model that they has like this very ornamented pauldrons. And there was a lot of this thing going on. Like a lot of this like very intense pinching. Because they were not for games, they were for cinematics. So I know we tend to be very harsh on like making sure that the topology is perfect. More often than not, as long as it fulfills the job, like it does the job, it's fine. And especially for things like this that are not gonna like deform, it should work like perfectly fine as well. Let's go top view here. Oh, that's a very crazy song that I'm listening right now. Oh, what the hell? There we go. Just making sure that, okay, we grab this right here. I got double edges. Wait, where? Yeah, I think we're fine. I don't see any double edges. Let's do mirror, bounding box, X. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Nice. Front hole. Oh, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, that. And I've talked to them, and they're like, yeah, we sometimes spend more time than we should on things that no one's ever gonna see, but it's worth it in the end. It's those small details, right? There we go. Yeah, still an edge on the front hole. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, we don't really need to again to fix that hole right there on the front because that thing is never gonna be seen, right? Like it's always going to be assembled with the whole gun, so we're fine. So let's add some of the other details here. Now here's where we could also, here's a trick. Once you have a good shape like this one, you can actually just give it a smooth. So you can say mesh and smooth. I'm gonna say smooth at 1 subdivision, so that's a little bit like bigger. And that way, if I need to, for instance, grab this thing right here and just match it to the surface a little bit more, I can just do soft selection. It's kind of like sculpting, right? And we just use soft selection to move things around. So it is possible to do this. It of course gets a little bit on the high side of polygon, so I'm gonna keep it low for now. But I know that eventually, like this is a very sort of like sharp corner or sharp turn that I'm adding. So eventually the the good option is to just smooth it, because otherwise there's too much of a change from number 1 to number 3. You don't want that, so it's a good idea to again sort of like smooth that out. I suppose the delivery times, yes, yeah, everything plays, like, there's, this is one of the big lessons that I learned when I was, or when I, like, graduated. There's a huge difference between school projects and production projects, because on a school project, you might have the whole semester to work on something, right, or the whole term, and on a production, it might be like, hey, you have 5 days, so, of course, there's a amount of, like, quality that you can deliver if you get more time to work on something, right? So it really depends on the time, on the money as well. Like, I've had, as you guys know, I have a small studio over here, and I do a lot of freelance work. So it's very, very common that I get approached by a client, and they're like, hey, we want you to do this. It's like, sure, I can do that. How much money do you have for me to do that? And how much time? Like, when do you need it for? It's like, oh, we need it for next week, and we only have this much money. It's like, oh, that's too little money. It's gonna be difficult for me to do this for that amount of money. And they're like, oh, well, what's the best you can do? And then that's where the negotiation sort of like step happens, right? Like, you're gonna go through a negotiation process, and you're gonna try to find a common ground where both of you are happy with the, like, result or the effect or the element that you're gonna be delivering. So unfortunately, that happens a lot. That the client wants something that's very, very like, intense or very, very complicated, and they don't have the money to pay for it. It's like, dude, right? Yeah, $10 in 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly. No, it's very common, and I always like to use the restaurant, like, approach. I always tell them, hey, have you ever gone to a restaurant and you want to get, like, the juiciest steak for your dinner, right? Yeah. How much is that? Oh, it's like $40 or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's expensive, right? Yeah. Well, if you don't have $40, you can't get the steak, but I can get you a burger for like $15 or something, or $5, or I can get you just a slice of bread with a little bit of like a minced meat or something. So it depends on the budget. Like, you have more money, you can get cooler stuff. You have less money, you are gonna get less cooler stuff. I'm still gonna do the best job I can with the money that you are offering if I'm taking the project, right? But yeah, it's important that you guys understand that in production, time and money are a fundamental sort of like part of the whole thing. There we go. So that's gonna be that little piece right there. It's kind of like a golden decoration, pretty much. Now this one is a little bit sharper here, so I missed a couple of edge loops there and probably there. I'm gonna add one more there as well, and yeah, just those. So bevel, 2 seconds. It gives you a, like, way cleaner cut there on the inset. Palpatinos, what's up, man? What's up? How much trees is good for games? Oh man, no, don't ask that question, my friend. Don't ask that question. It varies a lot, man. It varies way too much. Way too much. Okay, I'm gonna show you a very cool trick here for the trigger. Look at this. So I'm gonna go mesh tools. I'm gonna go create polygon. Then I'm literally just gonna trace the shape of the trigger. Let me do that again. So we trace the shape of the trigger, right? Like that. That's an end gun, right? It has a bunch of points. It has a bunch of elements. So this is not optimal for anything. But there's a very easy way to clean up an end gun. Look at this. I'm gonna grab this face, Control E. I'm gonna with Control E, I'm gonna offset, or in this case inset, and just delete the face and delete that one. And there we go. Look at that. That's a perfect loop. Perfect loop. All quads, all going in the right direction. Exactly what I need. So now, I just fill this in, right, to rebuild this element. Let's go right view. I'm gonna grab this one's right here. Add one more line. Just bridge that. Bridge that. And again, here's where I tell my students, when you're doing topology, sometimes you guys are too scared of adding more edge loops. If adding an edge loop makes everything flow nicer, just add it. It's fine. It's not gonna kill your topology, okay? And there we go. So now we just extrude this out with a sort of like a nice size there for the trigger. We mirror this to the other side. Oh wait, bounding box is messed up, so let's not do bounding box. Let's do world x negative. Hit apply. There we go. Center pivot. And that's it. No, this is not game asset. This is going to be a cinematic asset. So we're going to go high poly on this one. There we go. And now we have the trigger. Now we want to make this trigger a little bit sharper, right, on certain areas. Oh, we can add a couple of... Oh, Maya is freaking out. Okay, so at this point, Maya is freaking out. It happens sometimes, so I'm just going to save real quick, and let's reopen. See, like, I can't even close it. This is like a bug in Maya. I don't know why that happens. Anyway, just move the camera around, Control S. Let's go Task Manager real quick. Kill Maya. When I start seeing that sort of like display issue, I know that Maya is about to die, so there we go. Come on, Maya. Let's see, there we go. And let's open it up again. Ave, I have a question. For hand-painted models, if we paint in the shadows and highlights, how will it react to lights then? Oh, that's the secret, Aaron. There's no light. Usually in games like League of Legends, for instance, there's no light. Like, there's no point lights or anything. Everything is painted in, so that light is painted in. So you're not gonna have that sort of like reaction. There's other games, for instance, like Wayfinder, right? It's haven't played it. Has anyone played Wayfinder? So in Wayfinder, things are hand painted, but they also use PBR. So what they do with the models is they paint a very sort of like soft light or like overcast thing. So that's how they do it. You were asking in things like Arcane. Arcane also uses lights. So again, the models, when they paint the models, they're going to be painted like this. So very, very soft. Like the light is going to be very soft, very overcast. So yes, there's going to be a little bit of ambient occlusion and things might not always line up. But since the light is not strongly painted on the characters, you will be able to have shadows and things like that. But it's a whole combination of techniques to do that. So yeah, it's a very cool. I haven't seen the second season, so don't spoil it, guys. Yeah, it's probably the history, so let's just delete history on everything. There we go. So yeah, going back to this one, I'm just gonna add one edge loop here on the border, one edge loop there, one edge loop there, just to make it, you know, a little bit sharper. One there, and one on the other side. That's it. That's all we need. Now, if you guys want to be like extra cool with your riggers, for instance, one thing you can do. They usually don't ask for this, but again, if you're in a small team, they might appreciate it. Move the pivot point of your object to where this thing is going to rotate from. So in this case, it will be like right around there. I know that the character is gonna press this side, but when the trigger moves back, it's gonna move on that sort of like direction. So you want to do that, and when you do this, you can see, for instance, that we see a little bit of this part, which is not ideal. So I'm gonna push it up, so that we never see sort of like the back of the trigger, right? So if you put that trigger there, when the rigger is rigging this gun, it will be easier because they could just do a constraint to the like local orientation of that point, and it's just gonna be a little bit faster for production. Okay, just a little tip there. I haven't seen the second season. I saw the first one. Like, was it like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Yeah, it's freaking amazing. But I haven't seen the second season. Probably I'll see it. I'll probably see it today, or at least I'll start seeing it today. Okay, so now let's do the golden part that we have down here. What's up, Thurk? Welcome. When is the best use to the bevel to do sustain edges, or use the cut tool to do the sustain edges? So bevel will remove volume, right? So when you're using bevel, like if you have your 90-degree cut, right? If you use bevel, you're actually gonna remove a little bit of things there, so you're gonna get a rounder corner. If you want like a very sharp corner, it's better to just insert edge loops, and that's gonna give you like a very sharp corner. So rounder corners, bevel. Sharper corners, insert edge loop. That's usually my go-to rule of thumb there. Okay, now this one, it's gonna be a little bit tricky because it's got a lot of geometry. It's a round thing, but it's also, it's interesting. It's interesting. It follows the direction of this one. So what I can do is I can extract this shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this shape, and then grab these faces. So like an extraction, right? Because that shape right there, let's center the pivot, is very close to this shape right here. Just a little bit bigger, right? Now we do have some extra polygons, which are the support edges. I'm gonna delete those for now. I'm gonna keep all of the other ones because those are useful. I'm gonna also delete half of it to work a little bit more comfortable. There we go. And let's start matching this. It's important that we extracted that from the other piece, because this is gonna allow me to keep the same curvature, right? Otherwise things are gonna be, or might move a little bit differently. There we go. Now for this piece, yeah, let's think about topology. Always think about topology. So it's gonna be a sharp corner there, and then we're gonna have a couple of like lines giving me that sort of like curve right there. So I need to make sure that this loop follows properly. There we go. That. There we go, something like that. Thank you. I was using chamfer off on the bevel to get the strong edge like you said. I'm very sorry to... No, that's fine, man. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to answer. That's why we're doing this, right? So you can ask as many stuff as you want. Any tips on creating a personal brand like Patrick 4D for food renders? I want to do the same for vehicles, be it games. Just do it, man. Just go Arian Vehicle or Arian 4D or Arian 3D, or just do it. I mean, it's not easy. I can tell you that. It's not something that you're going to be able to build in one day, but you just got to start doing it. And the more you do it, the more you're going to realize, okay, this works, this doesn't work. This gets likes, this doesn't get likes. It's a little bit of a trial and error, right? So if you have the chance or the opportunity to do it, just do it. There we go. And I'm trying to clean this as nice as I can. The back part, like the bottom one, I'm not worried about. That's just a cylinder, like a weird looking cylinder. So this is the one that I'm a little bit more worried about. It's looking good, I think. So here, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna mirror first. Again, the world X. There we go, to generate like the whole thing. And I was gonna be a little bit worried about those. Oh. So merge to center, make sure that everything is lined up. There we go. Yep. And then I'm just gonna grab both edges, Control E, and use thickness to go in. Right? Might need to push this. Like here, I'm gonna grab all of those. Well, not all of them. I'm gonna grab like this one and that one. I'm gonna try to keep them as aligned as possible. So I'm gonna push some of these points up so they're as aligned as possible to their parent points there. Then I'm gonna probably I'm either gonna have to push this one down or this one up. I think it's a little bit of both, so let's push this one up a little bit. Let's push that point in. And then this one. Or another thing we can do is just add one more support edge right there. And then just push this in a little bit more so that when we smooth, they do go inside of this gold piece and we don't see any like empty areas. That's pretty much overlap, right? There we go. Yeah, it looks uniform, so I like that. Now we just grab this edge, we bevel. We get that. Here on the point, we're probably gonna do an offset edge loop. So right here to get like a sharper point right there. And then here to keep this sort of like a round effect. Oh. Come on. Let's go here. There we go. There we go. then we're gonna add another one here. That's gonna sharpen the borders a little bit. But I think it sort of like follows with the shape. And look at how clean that curve looks. Nice. Do another mirror. Mirror. World X. There we go. And here, the only thing I want to fix is this corner right here. Right, so I'm going to use this line. I'm going to go to Symmetry Object X so that we select on both sides. And we can just, again, push it out a little bit. Nice. Oh, that looks clean, man. That looks really, really freaking clean. I love it. Nice. Let's see. Anik Transit says, I bought your Marvelous course from Udemy, but you didn't set ZBrush integration. Spam calls. No, dude, if you bought the Marvelous course on Udemy, you bought the one that I did for Nextdude a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I have a new course now, so that one's quite outdated, I would say. It's still a good one. It's gonna teach you the basics, but I didn't include any ZBrush integration. I don't work with Nextdude anymore, so all of the courses that you see on Udemy that have the Nextdude logo, those are from, again, the previous work that I did. Most of the stuff you're gonna find now on my site, so that's the one that you're gonna find, like the new one from Marvelous there. That one has the most sort of like up-to-date information. But again, since I don't work at Nextdude anymore, it's impossible for me to let people know, and I don't think they're gonna want to give me promotion. So yeah. I mean, you can check that. ZBrush integration is not that difficult, man. Just like export and do C remeasure. That's usually what we do to just like keep working from there. But yeah, the new stuff is gonna be on my site now. I do like that sort of like sharp corner there, so I'm gonna keep it. Okay, so now the last piece, this one right here, that's a very simple like elements, just a cylinder, right? So I'm just gonna use the cylinder, give it a little bit of a round effect, and it's just a matter here again with what's the word? With symmetry turned on both sides, I just need to match it. So let's make it a little bit easier for us. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to delete the faces. There we go. And that way we only work on this part right here. And these are the most important ones, the ones on the bottom. So let's just make sure that we capture the nice curves that we have there. All of this are going to be inside this. We don't want to have any of them sort of like poking out or anything. We do need to push them a little bit farther there because there's going to be like a bolt, but everything else gets hidden. There we go. Keep the curve as clean as possible. Let's see. What do you look to do, modeling or sculpting? I prefer sculpting. I have a more fun sculpting, but I don't dislike modeling. And I do a lot of modeling as well. Like every now and then there's going to be shapes or pieces of a character or of a prop or something that are just easier to model. For instance, C-Modeler inside of ZBrush, I don't like at all. Like it's one of those tools that I genuinely do not understand. Well, I do understand. It's just that I don't like it. I feel faster just modeling things here instead of Maya, for instance. So yeah, there we go. So now we got that shape right there, and this point seems to be going in a little bit more like that. So we just gotta make sure that we grab some of these points right here and push them in a little bit more, so that when we smooth things, we hide all of that like hole. We don't want to see that hole right there, right? So just hide it very, very strongly. There we go. And now this one, very simple. I'm just gonna grab this thing, Control E, thickness in, right, to create like a little bit of a border, and then we just need to sort of like crisscross again. So bridge, 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 bridge. Let's get rid of symmetry. Add one line there in the center. This one is a point weld. right there, and this one's the bridge. So here and here we bridge, and here we bridge. Finally, we just add one support edge right there, and that's it. You get that very nice sort of like a shape right there. Finally, there's like a sphere, so no need to overcomplicate this. We just have a sphere right here, and we do this. There we go. Push it out. That'll be right there. It seems a little bit flatter. I don't think it's as like spherical, so I'm just gonna flatten it up a little bit. That's it. So pretty much the back part of this thing is ready, I think. So all of this thing, I'm not a gun guy, so I'm not sure what the name of this thing is, but I know there's a name to this whole sort of like section, and that's pretty much done. I don't think I missed anything here. Did I? Don't think I did. I think we're fine. Do you use mesh in any way for modeling? Sometimes, sometimes. There's a couple of things that I might use it for. It's not that I use it very frequently, to be honest, but especially when we're doing, again, instance things or very repeatable things, it's a good one. Let me do an increment and save. Let's see. What does AAA game production companies prefer, Maya or Blender? Maya. Most companies nowadays, I'm not sure about the market share specifically, but I'm gonna just throw a random number out there. I would say like 80% of companies use Maya or 3D Studio Max, and like 20% might be using what's the word, like Blender. More and more, especially indie scenes, are using Blender. It's a very powerful software. I love Blender. I use it all the time as well, but it's not industry standard like Maya has been for the past 20 years, right? Sir, can you suggest any video of your integration part? I bought many courses of your on Udemy, like Substance Designer, Basic ZBrush. I don't have a specific video on the channel, I think, but I might do one soon. Okay, man. I might do one soon. Let's see. So this is not a blocking now, right? No. This is not a blocking. This is the final piece. Now, of course, here I just gotta make sure that, again, this like receiver, I don't have to shift the names to the receiver, whatever, but I'm just gonna make sure that it's symmetrical on both sides. So I'm just missing this guy on the other side. There we go. All of the bolts, all of the elements. Yeah, this looks very good. This looks very good, if I may say so myself, right? So now let's go to the next part. So this thing right here is the blue part. If you remember, we talked about this part. This is meant to be the blue part. So I think it's a good idea now to do the gold part that goes on top of this, because this one might be a little bit thinner. Like I might push a little bit more, but yeah, let's do the gold part, which is probably where the sides would be. So this thing right here, that looks to me like a side thing. So let's start with that one. I find Maya to be a really slow modeling tool than Blender. Yes, I agree there, Samil. I totally agree with you. Like Blender, especially when you start getting some plugins, like I know there's one called, I think, Box Cutter, which everyone uses, and it can get very fast. Like you can do really, really fast like modeling things. The thing is, I've been modeling with Maya for well over a decade now, so it's just way easier for me to to do it this way, right? So it's in my particular case, it's more of a habit thing that I've been doing. That's why I prefer Maya. Because people have told me, oh, you should totally do Blender. It's like, yeah, I know I should, but I've been using Maya for so long that it's just difficult, right? I need to evaluate like how much faster is Blender going to make me compared to Maya, and if the amount that it's gonna take me to learn Blender it's bigger than the amount that's gonna, or the time that's gonna save me, then it might not be worth it. At that point, it's more of a question of efficiency, right? So now this thing is way bigger, and it kind of looks like it has a little bit, I would expect it to have a little bit of a flare out. So grab this edge. Gonna go front view. I'm gonna rotate them. There we go. It goes a little bit above this, right? Yeah, that looks fine. And then we need to start cleaning this up. Oh, it's gonna be a tricky retopology. That's not super tricky, but just make sure that things match. Something like that. That one probably. I'm not sure if I want to connect that. For 2D Blender is taking a lot of strength. Yeah, it is. What do you do for a living? I do development. We do VR and AR stuff mainly. I do freelance. I have the channel here, of course. It's a little bit of everything. Maya is the main for Retopo. It's one of the main ones, but to be honest, the best Retopo tool, and we've mentioned this before, guys, that's Topogon. Topogon is the best one for Retopo. Okay, so I'm gonna do something here, because this is gonna just make it very complicated. I'm gonna just model things square first, and then I'll do the taper. It's just faster this way. So that's yep, it's there. That's there. Let's match those right there. Max is more, it depends on the studios. There are some studios that use Max a lot, but it also depends on modeling. I've seen a lot of positions opening nowadays where they tell you as long as you can do Max, Maya, or Blender, that's fine. Like they only want you to submit the FBXs, right? So it's not that much of a difference. What is Topogon? The best software to do retopology, man. Topogon is it's a software specifically meant to do retopology, and it's really freaking good, man. It's really freaking good. Okay, so here we're going to mirror this to the other side. There we go. Well, actually, before that, let's fix the lower section, because this thing is a separate piece. So I'm gonna keep it a separate piece. There we go. Yeah, Topogon is a really powerful software. You don't need it, but if you can't afford it, freaking good. And if you get by the way, if you get the course that we have about Topogon, you do get a discount to getting like the full version. The funny thing is that I have found that retopology. So yeah, retopology is a lot of fun. I personally like it. I know I'm like a weird guy, and not a lot of people like retopology. They find it like very boring or whatever. I personally like it. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Yeah, let's grab all of the faces. Control E, offset. And Control E, push in. Snap that together. Yeah, that's gonna be our little sort of let's bevel that. So that's gonna be the sort of like the, what's that called? The sights, right? It's the sights. Yeah, there we go. Now let's grab this edge, that edge, that edge, that edge, that edge, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm gonna show you a very cool trick in just a second, guys. That one, that one. So all of the edges that are like corners, right? So that we can comfortably bevel them. Get a very sort of like nice sharp effect right there. So gonna do like another edge loop right there. There we go. And now to generate the taper, we can use something called a lattice. So I'm gonna go to form, lattice. I'm gonna change the subdivisions here to 2. And this lattice has points, this lattice points that I can graph on the top. This 4-1 right here. And then I can just taper this in, right, to generate a cool effect. How much are we gonna get a taper? Probably like there. Like I do want to have a little bit of an exaggerated taper right there. There we go. Now actually, this edge right here, Has a stronger bevel. Let me see if I can get it. No, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. Okay, that's fine. What's up, Abe? How often do 3D artists usually have to work? More than 50 hours a week? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's since it's a very competitive, industry, people are willing to put in a little bit more time. So 50 hours is probably expected, to be honest. I know I work more than that. I work way more than that. But that's because I have the channel here, and I really like creating stuff for it. So I'm a little bit on the weird side of things. Okay, I really want to do the bevel, but I'm not sure. Let's try it. So I'm gonna add one right there, one edge loop, and then I'm gonna grab this point right here. Or no, rather, let's go front view. I'm gonna grab. Let's do a delete history. I'm gonna grab the vertex on the top. Just give them an extra. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And now we have one more edge loop there, one more there, probably one more there. Nice. See, much better, right? With that little bevel, that extra bevel over there. Quite nicer. I have double edges. Where? I'm not sure what you mean by double edges, man. Again, it's like I'm not seeing any issue with topology right now. So, yeah. Will this gun? No, this is not game ready. This is going to be for like cinematic. So, hey Abe, have you tried plasticity? Any thoughts? No, I have not tried it. It's a CAD software, right? So it's more for like hard surface, but it's a different kind of hard surface stuff. So yeah, haven't tried it. The edge you're trying to bevel, when you press 3, you can see one edge divided into 2. Yeah, but that's fine. I think that's what I wanted, because it holds the edges a little bit better. If you mean this one, it's fine. I'm gonna keep it like that. Now, I'm not seeing the front view, so I mean it's gonna be like digital or something, but I would expect something. Like I feel like there's something missing on this area. So I'm just gonna add something that we call gribble. Have you guys heard that term before? Gribble. Let me see if I can write it properly. Gribble. Gribble. They use this in kit bashing quite a bit. Gribble, yeah, it's with E, right? So gribble is just like crazy looking shapes. It's just like a lot of little pieces and things that make things look cooler, even though they don't do absolutely anything to the element, right? And the best like example I've always given is the Millennium Falcon. You look at the Millennium Falcon and it looks freaking amazing, right? It has a lot of like very cool things and stuff, but it doesn't just like they don't do anything. From an engineering perspective, it makes no sense probably. But it just looks cool, right? So I'm gonna add just a little bit of a gribble piece here. I'm just gonna add like a little square there, and then I'm going to like bevel it. There we go. And just add it there. Probably flare it out as well. So just make it a little more of a hexagon, right? And it's just a piece that adds an extra bit of visual interest to the thing, so that when you see it from this position, like when you see it from the side, you're barely gonna notice it, but when you see it from the front, you might see just something more. And we could later on justify, this is the sensor, right? Like this is a sensor that uses or helps the side here detect whatever it is on the front. I don't care. I don't know. It just looks cool, right? My whole world changed with this information. Gribble, yeah, Gribble. Gribble is one of those things that's again very, very valuable. Okay, so we got the sides ready. Let's save again. And now we're gonna go for a big shape. Oh, it's gonna take a while, but this big shape, it's this whole sort of like golden trim that we have going around this like blue piece. So it's this thing. It's very boxy though, so it's probably gonna be it's gonna be a lot faster than I thought, because it's just a box, right? So let's just start with the box. Let's just match that right there. There we go. Wolf Girl, thank you. Get ready to gribble, yeah. Thank you for the bits. So this one Again, it's going to be roughly around there. I do want to make sure that I match the position of this thing already. So I know that this thing is going to be sitting right below the side. Yeah, that seems about right. There we go. Perp up a little bit thinner. Right around there. What happened to the live plays idea you had? It's coming soon or it's on hold? That's a good question. It's probably on hold. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I've been having a lot of work here at the studio with other projects, other than this channel, of course. So I haven't been able to keep up with a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. But hopefully, if this thing keeps growing, I'll eventually be able to do this full time. It would be great if I could do this full time, to be honest, because I love you guys. And I love creating content for you. Let's go down here. Push it forward a little bit. There we go. There's another edge loop right there. Grab this thing. Control E. Go all the way to the front. All the way to the front. There we go. Can you please explain how to do retopologies on a Cuban chain? That is the most specific thing anyone has ever done. Oh. No, you don't do retopology on this. What you do if you're gonna do a Cuban chain is you model one link, like one interconnected link cleanly from the very first part, and then you generate the necklace. Someone was asking about mesh. This might be one of the places where I would do or use mesh. Because that's the kind of stuff that you just model one link again perfectly, or as perfect as you can, and then you just replicate it. Because if you try to do high poly or sculpted and then retopologize, you're gonna go crazy, man. I strongly advise against doing that. There we go. Yeah, curves, mesh, yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you think 3D art is a difficult workspace to get free time and time for others, or just yourself? Yes and no. Yes and no. Like, here's the thing. If you like to travel and you like to go hiking and you like to visit places and go camping, then this artist or 3D lifestyle might not be the best one. But if you are like me, who likes playing games, who likes tabletop gaming, who likes going to conventions, it just meshes very nicely with the career. So a lot of my hobbies, they interconnect very strongly with what I do as a living, and that makes it very fun for me. But if you're someone that, I don't know, loves food and loves going to restaurants and things like that, it's just it's so different that they might not interconnect as much, and that means that you're not gonna have as many opportunities to do it, right? So it's one of those, again, decisions that you need to take. And this is very important, guys. I mention this quite often. Getting into any career, not this, any career, you need to weigh in a lot of things, okay? So don't think that just because you like games, you're gonna love making them. This is a short that got quite a bit of views the last time I talked about this. You might like games, but the process of making them is different. Ideally, you would love both. But I've had several students throughout the years who love games, and once I show them, oh, this is retopology, these are UVs, this is rigging, this is animation, they're like, nope, I'm out, I don't like this. And they decide that, hey, I just want to play games, I don't want to make them. Even though it might have been a cool thing to do, they realize, yeah, it might not be, again, exactly what they were looking for, right? So just, that's why I really like the idea of people just trying out and learning. That's why I have a basic courses about a Blender and things like that, because you can just try it for a couple of months, see if it's something that you enjoy, see if it's something that that you find fun in doing, and if you do, awesome, you keep learning, right? If you don't, that's awesome as well. You can just find something else. Yeah, I've had that happening. I've been, well, not suffering, but I've been seeing that more and more in myself as well. I don't enjoy playing games as much anymore. I prefer just making stuff. It's an interesting situation. There we go. So as you can see, I'm using here a cylinder. I started with a cylinder to just give me a perfect loop around the whole thing, right? Rather than trying to quad draw everything, I'm using primitives to just make sure that things line up perfectly. And here we're just gonna combine. It's very important to combine both elements, and then you just bridge. That's it. And now from here, I can grab this one That's it. There we go. Would tool work here as well? Yeah, that would work as well. So I'm gonna stop it right here because then we have this other shape that we already modeled, this one. So to me that seems like a good stop point for this piece right here. And then we have this big block with a couple of bevels as well that we need to address. So let's push this forward. Push this down. There we go. So that right there is the whole sort of like gold profile that we have going around the element, right? The only thing that we're missing is another little detail here. Oh. So this face is right there. There we go. Probably a little bit of a taper as well. Perfect. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, to make this thing look a lot nicer, we need to start adding support edges, because otherwise it's going to look very low poly. If I press number 3, of course, this looks horrible. So we just need to start adding, again, support edges. That's the whole thing here. So let's do the history first. I'm going to add one support edge here, one support edge there. That's going to keep the thickness even. And then pretty much any corner that I see here, I'm just going to start adding. Let's start with one support edge. I don't have to be super careful because everything is very, again, very squarish, very hard surfacey. So as long as we just add a little bit of that, we should be fine. The only place where I need to be, no, I just saved. I just saved. Don't worry, man. I've lost so many files due to that. The other day I was rigging a character, a work that I'm like a personal stuff for me, and it failed after rigging. And I was already posing the character, and it just crashed. I was like, oh, and having to do everything again, it just sucks so fucking much. There we go. It's a couple of edges here, here. Can just press number 3 to see where things are sort of like smoothing or not. There we go. Over on this side. So there. Now this one's tricky, so just make sure that we don't. We're gonna add just here on the like the connections, right? We don't want to add on the curvature of the loop there, because it's gonna destroy it. And this is where people get a little bit scared. I was like, oh, that's way too much topology. Yes, but remember, this is not for games. Abaddon says, what? I did that was Abaddon, I missed. Can you please explain how to no, I'm you did that was selling linear Roblox and Roblox once only 4K resolution. Now to fix it. I always get more than 9K resolution. 9K resolution? On what, man? I'm not sure I understand. As an example, I'm a former professional illustrator. It's a brutal career. Yeah, creative careers are very, unfortunately, that's how society works, and this has been like that since the beginning of time. People think that because we enjoy what we do, we should suffer and be paid less or work longer hours, and of course that's not fair. But unfortunately, that's the situation. There we go. Nice. Nice. That looks very, very nice. Now I'm just gonna confirm whether. Oh, actually, I kind of want to add another edge loop here, so it's a little bit straighter. There we go. And now I'm just want to make sure that the overlap here I just want that overlap there to look as nice as possible. So I might need to either push, I think I'm gonna push the scope out. There we go. Probably push it up a little bit as well, just so that there's a little bit of a gap between the elements. Yeah, there we go. That looks nicer. And now again, we just gotta fix the separation there. There we go. And over here, same stuff. Let me turn on wireframe so that we can see what we're doing. There we go. So those are the little details that can really help to make sure everything seems like it's part of the same thing. Let's see. It's exactly what working for yourself a bit outside of employment is good for you. Make some models, sell them on marketplace, do some freelancing. Yeah, it's always there's a very famous quote, right, that says, hey, never put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like don't just depend on one single like source of income. For instance, if you can try a couple of things here and there again on your free time and get a little bit of just try more stuff. That's a good way to be safe. Can you give me an advice on how to do Illidan horns? It's just a cylinder, man. Use the spiral tool instead of ZBrush and then sculpt from there. It's a lot of sculpt work. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely requires some time and patience. Okay, so just take it slow. That to me seems like a cylinder on the inside of the eagle. Right, I'm not sure what it is. It could be like some sort of like pressure bent thing or something. Right there. Again, we don't need to push this all the way through, but it doesn't hurt, right? So might be a good idea. And then we have a division there. Here's the division. So remember, just insert an edge loop, add a bevel to that edge loop, make it smaller. And you can offset this and push it in a little bit. Hey Ray, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. A couple of bevels here, and we're good with that piece as well. Nice. To be honest, I don't even care about the stuff no more. I'm just happy you said my name correctly. Awesome, man. Okay. I tried using the sweep mesh in Maya. That was a bad idea. It can work, but it might be easier to just do it in ZBrush. Hello, Evo. What's up, man? Okay. So next piece. Let's do this piece right here. This piece is very interesting because it has, again, like a couple of levels, right? So it's like steps. It generates this very like interesting steps. So ideally, we want to start with a clean mesh. So with like a clean shape, like a square. Actually, no. I'm gonna show you here what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with a plane again. We're gonna use Quadro for this because we need to plan ahead a little bit. So let's do minus. Go. Put this right there. Awesome. So Quadro. So what I want is I want to sort of like capture this silhouette that we're eventually going to extrude into that like extra floor that we have right there. So I want to keep a line that follows those specific elements or those specific steps. Here we're gonna need another point. Go. Now let's clean this up a little bit. By cleaning, I mean like making sure all of the things are as straight as possible where they need to be straight. So for instance, all of this one's right there. Okay, so here's what we can do. So I know that this is kind of like the beak, right, of the eagle. And we know it's probably gonna go from that point here, and it's gonna go out. So that's gonna be like the basic shape right there. And then I'm gonna duplicate this, delete all these faces, delete these faces, center the pivot point, get it right there so that it's sitting on top of the previous piece. Control E. That's going to be the second level, right? just that level right there. And then duplicate again. Delete those pieces, delete this ones, and delete this ones. And we can have that one sitting on top of that one right there. And do a final duplicate right there. So that way we create that sort of like interesting effect. Now, if we want to merge everything, we can, because the topology allows for it, right? So if we want all of this piece to be a single piece, we can do it. And it's, I would say, rather simple. We just need to delete that. And then on this one, we delete those faces, right? And then, so let's just do this. Delete all those inner faces. And then finally on this one, we delete those faces. So now, we can technically combine all of them, right, in a single piece. You can go vertex, edit mesh, merge, and the first and second piece are now together. And then for this third piece, we just bridge. That's it. So that's one way in which we could have built it. There's multiple ways to build it, but that one I feel it works. Right? Or we can keep them separate. To be honest, like this is one of those pieces that could definitely be separate. Mike Panov says, I have a question. If this weapon is made only for cinematic, how will the shell ejection be done if this element, its topology, is not in the main mesh? How will the empty shells be modeled to look like they're coming out from there? Or yeah, so it depends. It depends. Again, it all depends on the shot, right? Like if in the shot you want to see everything just going in, and you need to modify or sorry. You need to see the shell coming out and everything. Then you need to over-engineer this thing, overdo this thing, and just like model everything, right? But if it's not going to be seen, if it's just going to be on the background, or if you're just going to shoot and you're just going to see the flash of the shot being fired or whatever, then again, it's not that important to model everything. It really depends on how the shot is constructed. That's why, again, in production, you need the storyboards, you need the design process, you need a lot of these steps so that you don't do more work than you need. In this case, I really am not going to do any animation or effects or anything. I just want to do the model, so that's why I'm not over-engineering this thing, right? But yeah, I would probably like model all of this thing so that they would sort of like move back. I would model the hole so that the bullet could go in. Like, again, it depends a lot on that stuff. Do I use Blender? Yes, I use Blender all the time. Like on the last course that I released, the ZBrush course, the ZBrush for iPad, the render was done in Blender, and he did a great job at that. Like a really, really nice job, I would say. Okay, so now let's think. I definitely want to bevel this edge right here to give it a little bit more, you know, visual interest. I'm probably gonna bevel all of the edges, to be honest, like this corner edges. I know this is gonna generate some endguns. I'm not worried about the endguns, because that to me looks way nicer than the endguns. Now, do you want to solve this endguns? Like, are endguns really like making you question your life? Don't worry, just push them all the way to the side, like that. This all the way there. There we go. This all the way there. People like, and I know this because I've done videos about this as well, like complaining about bad topology. It's not that I complain or that I don't like angles or triangles, it's that people abuse them. They don't know where to have them properly, and that's what generates issues, right? There we go. So now let's of course add some support edges. So we're gonna have one right there, probably one on each of the angles that we just, or the bevels that we just added. Go. One right there. One right there. One right there. This is a very sort of like straight piece, right? Like a very boxy thing. So it makes our whole life way easier. I could actually just like bevel everything, and that would have been fine as well. Very important to have a division on the actual division. There we go. That's the boxy shape right there. Like this is like the beak of the eagle, right? So shift right click, reduce mirror again, boom, there we go. Yeah, this is where I would probably start thinking about what else to add here, because I don't want to see like the empty space. Sometimes it could be just like a box or something like holding the barrel. We'll think about this as well as soon as we get there. Angles and tries are more for parts where the animation will collapse squats. Yes, that's right, exactly. So if an object's not going to deform, it's not going to bend, it's just going to be a static object, then this, like all of these things fall into another category, right? So let me duplicate this one. Have it right here. Of course, let's delete the other one right there. There we go. Push this out. And that one's gonna go right there. Then we have another one right here. A little bit smaller. Another one right here. That one's a little bit bigger. Just make sure that they're flushed with the element. There we go. And we're missing like one cylinder right there. It's kind of like a coin, right? So again, just a cylinder. And all of these details are gonna look amazing once we do like texturing and we do like a metal edge wear and dirt and all that stuff. Because on all of the overlaps that we have, we're gonna have a little bit of that like very cool bevel effect. Go. Now this one, pro tip, if you're not gonna see the bottom part, right, delete it. You don't need it. It's gonna save you some texture space. It's gonna save you some edges and polygons. So there we go. Anthony says, Ave, on my 3D path, teachers told me we need to keep squares the same or close as. Yes. Why did you not pour more squares when you extrude things like the barrel? No, yes, we definitely should. Like, ideally, again, if this is gonna be for animation, you do want to have like more divisions here. That's mainly for texture stretching. I don't think we're gonna get too much texture stretching, so that's why I'm saving that. But later on, if I see that we need, I would just like subdivide everything more times. Wouldn't UVs be a ton of work for this gun? Nah, not really. I mean, it's definitely gonna take a couple of like an hour probably or 2 hours. But then it's fairly simple. If you model things right, if you have your edge loops and everything right, UVs should be fairly simple. And nowadays, with things like triplanar projection and tools like that, it's even easier. Like, you don't need to worry too much about it. Yeah, so like, see that golden piece right there? That to me looks like a cube. Can kind of like support. So I'm just gonna add it already. There we go. And I want to add the cover on the front of the gun already, because it just looks a little bit wrong. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to this one right here. I'm gonna duplicate this like cylinder. So edit mesh, duplicate. I'm gonna push it out just a tiny bit. There we go. And then from that cylinder, we can grab all of the faces and extrude them out. Probably not too much, probably right around there. Or actually, now that I see this, it's probably gonna be even further back. So the cap of the gun, let's say, would be like here. Yeah, right around there, because we got this like hole right there that we see through, and we see the golden barrel still. So it's gonna be like probably right around there. And then what I can do is grab, for instance, this faces. Let me just make sure I'm grabbing half of them. Yeah, there we go. Control E, just push them up and scale them. So that's gonna create like again like a wall, right? And that's gonna block the rest of the gun. It's kind of like the internal stuff and things like that. So I'm gonna do something very similar, or we could just like rotate this to the on the bottom side. But let's just do it on the bottom side. So again, I'm gonna grab this face. Let's make sure that we're grabbing proper ones. Control E, just push them down. In this big box right here, this big shape. is going to can block this part so that so when we see it from the front, we don't see all of the inner contraptions and things like that, right? It's a way to make it a little bit simpler, I would say. And then I like this cube that's kind of like a support. I would probably add, and you can see it, there's like a weird like black space right there. So I'm gonna add another like big shape right here. Be very careful not to see it from the inside. So something like that. Probably thicker? I'm not sure. Like, yeah, here. Because it doesn't make sense to have that much negative space. That's my point, right? So I'm probably going to have to Control E here, push it out a little bit more. Probably not that much. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Are tries important for gaming, or we can use quads? You can use quads, but everything gets triangulated at the end. So again, don't worry too much about it. There we go. That looks I don't know. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's keep it small box, just like that for now. We'll decide what to do a little bit later. Let's say real quick. And Cornfather, what's up, man? Hello, hello. What do you use for unwrapping? Most of the time I use Maya. The Maya Unfold tools are really good, to be honest. So I just use Maya. And I've been trying a little bit of Resum UV lately, and it's good. It has some cool tools, but yeah, Maya, it's more than enough. How important is experience? Can I apply to big studios without experience? Yes, but you need to have like a really nice portfolio, like extremely good portfolio. And you're still gonna get like a junior position. Like they're not gonna give you like a senior position or anything, but it is possible. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is possible. Give me 1 second here. Let me just make sure that I don't get any important messages. We're moving quite fast, to be honest. I was expecting to take a little bit longer, but we're moving actually quite fast. We're almost done. We're just missing the eagle, I think. Oh, and the bullets, right? Like all of this whole box of bullets. Yeah. Okay. But no, yeah, we're on a roll right now. The leg. What happened to the leg? What do you mean? Like what happened when I fell and broke it, or how is it going? It's going nicely. It's going nice. Stream tag is Blender 3D. Oh, I don't even remember what the tag is, man. I've been reusing the tags for like months now. Did you download those bonus tools of Maya or created it by yourself? What bonus tools? This bonus tools right here. This now in Maya 2025 they come by default, so they're included by default on the what's the word? On the thing. Yeah. The leg is it's 100% like healed. I'm still working on strengthening it. Strengthening. Oh, that's a freaking tongue twister. I'm still working on having more strength on it because it's not as strong as it was before the fall. But yeah, I can walk normally. I can jog normally. I already went swimming and everything, so it's healing. But if I try to stand on it, I wobble a lot. It's very wobbly still, so need to work on that. Okay, so here we're gonna use a very similar process for the eagle as we did for the beak. So I'm gonna plan the, as you can see, there are like 3 steps. It's like this step, and then this step right here, and then this one right here, and then the head is a different piece that sits on top of everything. So let's go quattro. Go just like that, and then the next section is like this. I know there's like an empty space right there. Actually, let's add it already. Just like that empty. It's probably gonna need 2 edge loops there. There we go. Now the next section is gonna go here, here, here. So let me show you the other method that we can use for this. There we go, like that. There we go. Ah. There we go, and there we go. Okay. So now we clean stuff up. Again, just scale everything. Nice. Oh, by the way, but to Cornfather, yeah, I know this is Maya, but all of the things that I'm doing here, you can totally do them in Blender. Like, this is nothing that you couldn't do in another software. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to build that face there. Rich, there we go. Did you, what? Do you think your gun actually is a blocking or more advanced modeling? This gun right here? No, this is already like a... I wouldn't say advanced modeling. It's nothing like super hard to do, but it's already like a finished like model. That's gonna be the beak right there. Actually, it's similar to the other ones. It's gonna go like really far out, like right around there. And then we grab the other faces. Push again. A little bit more. And then we grab the last faces here. And we push the final like step, which is right there. Probably a little bit more. There we go. When is the next model review thing that you do on Discord? Sorry, I'm new to your channel. No, that's fine, Waldet. We're gonna have it at the end of the month. So, it's gonna be... Let me check the calendar here. It's gonna be on November 29th, okay? November 29th is when we're gonna have the next portfolio review. We have not opened the submissions yet, so you guys need to join the Discord and stay tuned. Just check every day, because once we open the submissions, we only accept like 30 submissions, and at that point we close the submissions. So if you don't want to be left out, you want to again be paying attention to it. Okay, so for this I'm going to use a slightly different method. What I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to give this guys the initial bevel that we did before. There we go. Then I'm going to clean up the angle so that everything is quads. Right there. Oh, seems like it's a very common mistake sometimes when you do extrudes and you select the face on the other side. You're gonna get that sort of like mistake or result. That's fine, because we're actually gonna delete half of the points right there. It's gonna be empty. Same stuff over here. We need to clean those angles. So we go here, here, there we go. So angles are now taken care of. And what I can do here, again, because this is a very sort of like boxy shape, I can just bevel everything. Just bevel everything with 2 segments. Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, that's weird. Why are you not letting me bevel everything? Let's try that again. Okay, there might be a little bit of an issue somewhere. It's not letting me bevel. Oh, it's this thing right here. Get another extra extrude that we don't need. Let's try mirror first. Now let's try bevel. There we go. So now you can see everything gets beveled with 2 segments. So when I press number 3, get this very sharp effect. Oh my god, what the hell is going on there? Oh my god, that's horrible. Ah, we could just mirror again. That should clean it up. Oh, there's a bad face here. Really? See, the bevel sometimes does this, and I'm not sure if it's a mistake of Maya or what the hell, but there we go. Yeah, it was like a delete history thing. But yeah, that gives us a very sort of like blocky look. All of the corners are sharp corners. Later on, if we bring this into ZBrush to add details or whatever, we can get another effect there as well. If we don't want some of these corners, we can of course delete them. So for instance, if we want the beak to be a little bit rounder, or if we want some of this, the bevel is going to be relatively easy to, again, sort of like eliminate. Yeah, it was the first transformation. Do you think it's okay to model hard surface in Dynamesh and then make it hard surface in Maya via Retopo? Yes, Casey. And welcome, by the way. Yeah, it's perfectly fine and perfectly doable. The 110 reviews that we did was was for the contest. It wasn't really a review. We just went through them. Like, I didn't give a lot of like specific points because it would have been impossible. But I think the longest portfolio review we did was like 50 portfolios, and it took us like 4 hours to go through all of them. And it's definitely tiring. But yeah, okay. So that's the beak right there. This one also has like a... It's not a sphere, that looks more like a bolt, like one of these guys. Go. Perfect. And now the eagle. The eagle is the big shape, right? So let's do a simple shape first. Let's save, of course. Let's do the little like crest right there. That one's super easy. And that's why I find this gun to be a really good exercise. Like this marine guns are very blocky, right? Like they're not like Halo guns that are very smooth and have a lot of curvatures to them. If you're gonna be doing stuff like that, like Halo guns, you definitely need to probably sculpt them. Like I would sculpt the main shapes, and then as Casey was saying here, just do some retopology later. Because those are that's more like organic hard surface rather than like traditional boxy hard surface. I like that size, I think. Goes in line with the rest of the elements, so I like that. And I'm probably just gonna flare this a little bit, so gonna add a little bit of a flare there. Actually, let's do the hardened edge first, so, or the support edges first. And then we used another lattice. Actually, there's a little bit of a curvature here as well. There we go. Let's see, the price you pay for being the best educator, the 3D educator on YouTube. Yeah, right. It's part of the job. Yeah, Space Marines weapon majority of them are box-like, but it kind of goes with the Warhammer lore. I know because I read some. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not too familiar. I actually was like, do you know what faction this gun would belong to? I think it was the Imperium, but I'm not sure which specifically it would belong to. I definitely need to learn a little bit more about that. How's the dragon head coming along? It's did you see the short, Casey? I uploaded it yesterday, I think. Like, it's fully assembled. You guys want to see it? Let me see if I can bring it, because it's very big. Let me see if it fits through the door, because I'm not even sure it fits through the door anymore. Down with this. Oh. Full screen here. Yeah, so this is the dragon head. It's a little bit big, right? So it's like 1 meter long or wide. I don't know. It's still like work in progress. I'm filling in all the gaps. It's heavy. Like, this thing is like 10 kilograms. So it's quite huge, yeah. It's hollow, of course. You can see right there. It's empty on the inside, because otherwise it would have been very difficult to print and do everything with it. Hopefully it doesn't fall. It's too low. But yeah, that's the dragon head. That's the dragon head project. That one's gonna take a couple more weeks to be finished. The material for printing, I didn't buy it. I was sponsored by Elegoo. They sent us the filament so that we could do this project. So, but I think the package that they sell, it's 10 kilograms of filament, and they sell that package for, I want to say $140. So it's actually quite a good price for their filament, and it's really good. Like the quality of the filament is very, very nice. Very nice. Let's see. A name, yeah, he definitely needs a name. It's gonna be a red dragon. That's one thing that I've decided. So it's definitely gonna be a red dragon. But I definitely need to decide on a name. So that, yeah, the material. I don't think the material was too expensive. It was 10 spools. So if you think about it in terms of spools, it was 10 spools. The printing time was the tricky part, and the preparation, like cutting all the pieces and making sure that they like work together and stuff. That was one of the complicated things, I would say. No, it's not gonna be Pyro. No, it's gonna have like a legendary name. Harold. Yeah, it's huge, Martin. It's freaking huge. Just want to say thanks for all the tutorials and beginner-friendly stuff you put on YouTube. It really helped me get into ZBrush. Hey, you're welcome, Ichi. You are welcome. I'm glad you found the channel, and welcome as well here to the stream. We stream every Friday. Like I think we've streamed for. I don't think we've missed a week, have we, David? Maybe one time when I went to vacation, or when I broke my leg, of course. But I think we have been pretty consistent with our streams as well. Should have made it wearable. Yeah, we could do a mask later on. What are the things that you take into account? Mainly, again, like trying to reduce as much weight as possible. So hollowing in the insides was a big deal. Making sure that the supports are not too intense, so that you don't have to. Yeah, so that it fits a little bit better. Like you don't have to do a lot of work cleaning up supports. That was another big one. What else? Oh, that's pretty much it, I would say. Okay, let's try this shape right there. Yeah, I did one stream on iPad. We tried Forger, right? I think before ZBrush for iPad came out. Okay, so we're gonna have the eye right there. We could potentially 3D print this one as well. That would be another another cool project. You know what? I think we need to push these points further back, because that's where the eye sits. And now we grab this piece, Control E. It's gonna be the little hood there on the eagle. Oh, what the hell? There we go. Let's delete that, and we're gonna bridge from here to here. We can bridge there as well. Let's see. Elegoo has 10 kilograms up right now for 99. Yeah. So that's the one that they sent us. And again, the quality of their filament is really good. Like I haven't had any issues. I had a couple of issues while printing this one, but it was mainly user errors, like not enough supports, or the calibration was not good, like stuff like that. So yeah, strongly recommend that one. I'm learning ZBrush at school right now, but it's very difficult. Do you have any tips of good exercises for that, or like where to start? Well, I do have a course if you want to check that one out, but yeah, there's a couple of exercises that we have on the channel. So doing skulls is always good, like an animal skull or like a human skull. Doing things like hands and torsos just to practice anatomy and practice the form creation. All of those are good ways to get started with the process, I would say. But yeah, if you want, we have the Oni course. That one's ZBrush, and the first couple of chapters are sort of like beginner-friendly chapters, and then we go straight into some like really cool things. May I ask you for your recommendation for a rigging course, because I really don't know where to even start learning it. I don't have a rigging course right now. No one has a couple of good ones, I think, that you could use. Back when I was at Nextut, I did one like introduction to rigging that I think was good, because he taught the basics of it. If you can see it, like, it's not a bad option, to be honest. But yeah, like, if you're gonna do humanoid rigging, most of the stuff can be solved with like plugins and things. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky here, because as you can see, we have this section going in a little bit. So here's where triangles are gonna be probably needed. So look at what I'm gonna do here. I am going to... What do I do? What do I do? I am going to extrude all of this section right here. Just a tad bit. Like this. To generate that like cut right there. But then we need to collapse here. And that's how you get that like triangular looking shape there. And then we can exaggerate a little bit more to get more like a shadow. Right? Now the triangle is going to be a little bit tricky to... Not to get rid of. Like, we're not going to get rid of it. But it's just going to like change the flow of topology a bit here and there. I'm a little bit worried about that empty area there. Seems like I might need to push this thing all the way back. Yeah, that's horrible. You know what? Let's add a little bit more layering, like a visual interest there, as I like to call it. So I'm just gonna add a cube there to fill that space and create like an extra layer there. And then what we can do is just bevel that corner. There we go. So it flows with the same sort of like bive. Okay, so now let's start doing some sharpening here. Yes, all of this, guys, Osaki 7U7, all of the videos are re-uploaded. This one's gonna be available on YouTube soon, because I do need to edit a couple of things and just make sure that I'm not having like copyright strike or things like that. So it takes me a couple of days to just go over stuff and yeah, just clean stuff up. But yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube. The first part is also on YouTube, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that like smooth effect right there. I think it looks good. Looks a little bit like wonky, so we just gotta grab again the vertex and make them flow a little bit better. There we go. Yep, much better. It's like a smoother transition there. Yeah, Rebek, it's not that it's better. I've been using Maya for longer. That's why I prefer to model inside of Maya. Blender is really good. If you've made the change and you're now modeling instead of Blender, it's fine. Like, no one's gonna... Like, people get very... Like, there's, like, very heated debates about which one is better and stuff like that. I don't think it's really necessary to go that route, to be honest. Like, I understand why people do it, but I just find it very stupid to fight about things like that. So yeah, if you're modeling in Blender has some really cool, especially again with plugins. There's some really good plugins inside of Blender that allows you to model very quickly as well. go. Now this thing right here, we'll just snap it to the center of the grid and mirror. Oh. There we go. Not bad. Like, I think we're, again, like the top part is pretty much done. We just need to do the receiver now. Bullet thing right here. So everything else is done. Don't worry, Rena Tortilla. Don't worry. We're like, again, all of this is gonna be available soon. Oh wait, I'm missing. Didn't I model that part? Something happened. I remember modeling this part, but it seems like it broke or something. Let's save real quick. Again, let's just delete history, first transformation. There we go. What other animal do you recommend for sculpting besides the rhinoceros? Baby, you took that course, man? Nice. Yeah, Zebra's Fry Pet is really good. I like doing like again, skulls are always a good idea. Any animal skull is a good idea. Try doing a hippo. Hippos are fun. We did one a couple of weeks ago. We did the little like moo dang thing, meme thing. What's the word? Dinosaurs are also very cool. Dragons are very cool. You can try doing like alligators or crocodiles. Are also very cool. I try to avoid doing like goats and things like that. Lions are also cool. Whenever the shapes are very soft or not as defined, you might want to try to avoid a little bit of those because it just you're not gonna learn as much, right? Like what we're trying to practice is form. So the more like changes in silhouette and muscles and things like that you have, the better. Okay, so let's do that pill again. That's a shame that it... I'm not sure why it got destroyed. I'm trying to think what shape to use. Let's just go cylinder. I mean, why not? So rotate the cylinder. Go right there. Gonna make this an 8-sided cylinder. It's way easier this way. Grab these faces, delete them. Rotate this 180 degrees. Move it to the other side. Combine both. Push it out. Bridge from one side to the other. Delete the inner faces. Grab the outer faces. Extrude in. Grab the outer edge. Push it out. Extrude out. And that's pretty much it, right? That's the shape right there. Position it where it should be, right there. Probably bevel this edge right here. And that's it. We'll smooth out and we're gonna get the effect that we're looking for. I do want to add an edge loop there and there just to keep it a little bit straighter. There we go. That's it. That's the shape. Have I worked in the game or movie? I've done more games, Osakyu, than movies. I haven't worked on like super big games. I've worked on a couple of indie games. Early in my career, I was working on like mobile games. Nowadays, I do games, but they're VR games, AR games for like museums and in the industry here in Mexico. I've done the advertisement, or I've worked for advertisement stuff. So yeah, a little bit of everything here and there. But I haven't worked on like a studio. Let's see here. It's mainly freelance that I do, which is great, to be honest. It's very fun to be able to work from your home. I know it's a very big privilege. Rebek says, yeah, I paid for some add-ons and I think they're totally worth my money, more than a simple 1-year Maya license. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends, right? So, for instance, here what I do, it's a lot of like small projects or medium-sized projects for local companies. So for me, it's more worth it to work on Maya, because I can do everything: animation, render, textures, rigging, modeling, sculpting, even if you needed to. So that's what we do. My studio was named Critical Hit, but it died after the pandemic. Right now I'm associated with a partner of mine, and our studio is called Hyperlab. So we do again AR and VR stuff, VR development here for the local industry. That's our main focus. Okay, cool. So we got that piece ready. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's go. We still got like around 1 hour. Oh man, I'm getting a little bit tired, not to not to lie to you guys. So let's take a look at this. How is this box? So we have a cool receiver here. We got that shape right there. Shorter stream? Yeah, we might do a shorter stream, because I'm really running low on energy now. Let me just do one bullet. I'll do one bullet, because this is it's a fun one. Let me do one bullet, and then we're gonna call it, okay? So I'm gonna start with a sphere. Yeah, definitely a long wick. There we go. So for the cap of the bullet, we're gonna use the sphere. It's a little bit of an elongated sphere, so something like that. And we're gonna delete half of it. And I'm gonna grab this edge, Control E, and just extrude in a little bit. We don't need to. For the body of the bullet, we're gonna have a cylinder. I'm gonna snap it there to the center, 90 degrees. Awesome. Yeah, that's great, Martin. And yeah, working from home is a really big advantage, to be honest. And we're gonna bevel these borders. There we go. And now we can push this head just a little bit there, so that we get a nice little connection. Then it has like a, kind of looks like a casing, which is again a cylinder. But the thing with that cylinder is that it has like a cut, right? There we go. So I'm going to delete this inner faces, and then I'm going to add one line right there and delete those faces. Let's get it close to the body of the bullet. Extrude out. A little bit less, right around there. A bit more here. More there. There we go. And in this one, I'm not going to use bevel. I'm going to just insert edge loop, so that it holds the corner a little bit better. There we go. Nice. Now it has some banding, but I'm not sure if it's the shading or if there's some like detail on the bands. Any Warhammer fan, do they have like more lines to them? Because what we could do here is I could like bevel like every other one. Yeah, that actually looks like a good decision. So I'm gonna grab all of this, guys. I'm just gonna bevel all of them, give it a little bit of a bigger fraction, and then grab the newly created like lines right there. Yep, all of this guys right here. And I'm just gonna extrude in, push them in a little bit, just a little bit, so that when we do number 3, we see a little bit of a line, right, like an effect, right? We're definitely gonna need a couple of support edges. There we go. That looks a little bit more interesting. As a college student, what should I do to make sure I have a job as soon as I graduate? You need to make sure that your portfolio showcases your skills in the best possible way. And you usually want your portfolio to be conformed or made by really, like, not extremely complex pieces, right? Like, I'm not expecting to see like a freaking complete transformer, right? But as I've said many times before in portfolio review, you don't want to have just a barrel, you don't want to have just an axe, you don't want to have just a desk or a box, right? Like, you want to have something that's like complex enough that it shows that I can throw anything at you, or I can ask you to do or work on anything, and you're gonna be able to fulfill it, right? So that will be probably the best thing that you can do. Also, network like crazy, man. Like, if you're in a school, you're going to on-site school, talk to your professors, like, make sure they know, ask them the same questions you're asking me right now. Ask them, because that shows that you care, of course, about your future, and they'll remember you, or it might be easier for them to remember you, and they might be the ones that open the first opportunities to you when you graduate. So yeah, I guess those would be my main pieces of advice there for you, my friend. Seth, one line right there. Says, you make this look so effortless, it's sounding that people can do stuff like that. Everyone can do this, man. Like, I was studying medicine before I became a 3D artist, so if I, with absolutely no knowledge about art or anything, can't do this, anyone can do it, man. Of course, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience, but anyone can do it. Let's add the little thing right here, which is where the bullet gets hit, right? So there we go, get a bullet. Now all of these pieces we can just combine into a single piece, and now we got the bullet right there. We can duplicate it a couple of times. So yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I guess this is where we stop for today. But I think we are like on a very good position. Like, pretty much all of the pieces for the gun are done. The only thing that I'm missing is the box. So I'm probably going to be modeling the box off camera. It's just, again, very simple techniques, very simple tools. And then next time we come back to this project, we will start working on UVs, right? It's probably going to be a big time doing UVs. And if we get all of them done, we can jump into texturing. But yeah, I'm really happy. This looks quite nice. Again, if I may say so myself. Let's just answer a couple of questions before we close this, because I know there's a couple right here. So, what happened with that question, Abraham? There was like a giveaway for saying what makes you doing 3D. Yeah, we gave it away, man. It happened 2 weeks ago on the early part of the live stream. We had that, and we had the 2 winners. It should be there. You can go and check. If you didn't win, if you didn't get an answer in the comment, then that's it. Actually, one of the winners hasn't answered, so if they don't answer in the next couple of weeks, I will just like give it away to someone else, again, from those comments. How old were I when I made it into the game industry? I started working in 3D back in 2011, and I was lucky enough to get a job in an outsourced studio here in Mexico back then. So I could say the first time I worked for the game in the industry could be that, all the way back in 2011. But I would say formally I started working like in bigger projects in 2016 when I graduated from Noman. But even before that, even before I graduated, I was already doing a little bit of freelance and things like that. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Again, sorry for ending the stream a little bit earlier, but I'm definitely feeling low in energy, and I feel like we've been able to get like a very, very nice process here. So thank you, everyone. If you want to support the channel, you guys know the best way to do it: like, share, subscribe here on YouTube, Twitch. Both of them are really good ways to help us grow. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the 3D world, if you want to learn how to do this, how to model, how to texture, how to do all of this stuff, make sure to check our premium courses on our site, leal3d.com. So yeah, feel free to check them out. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. And don't forget, always learning, always improving. I'll see you back on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.